Welcome to Melanated Magic TV, and I am your host, Jessica X. And today I'm here to share a video and a little bit of commentary on this video, this press conference that Jason Van Dyke's wife and his attorneys decided that they wanted to share. Not everyone who gets locked up in prison gets the right to a press conference. Not everyone gets that privilege, but here we go.
Are you good, Dan?
I'm good. Good as I'll ever be, right?
And I will be pausing this video in between to share my commentary.
Bernie, can you step back just a touch? Thank you. Cool.
Sorry about that.
This obviously is a very important message and important piece of information that we received yesterday. Tammy received it and immediately went to work on this. We found out that Jason, his safety was compromised, and we did everything we could to reach out and make sure that this doesn't happen again. I'm going to turn it over to Tiffany, who obviously has some strong emotions about this, but all we ask, and it's not all we ask, but I think it's time that we have to look at this and say enough is enough, and we need people to start doing their jobs. And if their jobs are to enforce and promote justice, well then those jobs need to be done. And
That you say that if your job is to promote and enforce justice, that you need to be doing your job. Really, really funny that you say that, because if the system was doing their job, this would have never happened to Laquan. If the system was doing its job, Jason would have 18 plus years in prison. Matter of fact, if the system was doing its job and treated him the same way it treats a black man for killing someone, for shooting someone 16 times, guess what? His ass wouldn't see the light of day. Now let us continue.
And for those that have been elected and put into jobs in which their job is to promote justice, they need to look in the mirror and determine whether or not they have the fortitude and the integrity to do these jobs. But it has to
Looking in the mirror. It's funny, he says they need looking in the mirror. Really? So you're making a press conference for a man who murdered a child because he had his ass handed to him in prison? Let's just say this. Many people go to prison and have much worse things happen to them. Just be lucky that Jason is still here. Count his lucky stars.
To be done. Enough is enough. This man has been sentenced. He's allowed to be safe in prison. The mentality out there seems to be that.
Sir, do you understand that your client is in prison, allowed to be safe? Do you think being in prison is a cakewalk? No, it's not. In prison, you get what's coming to you. And when you're a murderer or a child molester, people tend to beat your ass, kill you, or whatever they want to do. No, it is karma that he is receiving. And let's just say this. Honestly, if they didn't kill him, it's because they didn't want to. They just gave him a little ass tapping. That's it.
People won't rest until he is either given a life sentence or killed in prison. And that's extremely unfortunate, and it's certainly not what our system is about. So,
that is exactly what your system is about when it comes to black men and women. So now that he's in this system that was set up for black people, now y'all call it a press conference to shed a light on the system itself. Oh my God. It is sure funny how the tables have changed.
I'll turn it over to Tiffany right now.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming today. This has not been an easy process for myself and for my family. Unfortunately, I was made aware yesterday that my husband's safety had been compromised in the institution that they currently have him housed at. My children and I have been fearful for his safety, for his life. This entire time, I have said it from day one. I continue to say it. I said it on the witness stand in the courtroom during his trial. My number one fear for my husband has always been his safety. It always has been that somebody is going to get him and hurt him. And the worst has happened. He has been taken.
Sweetie, the worst has not happened. In the black community, our people go to prison all the time. Our people go through a lot of things. Some of them go in and they don't walk out. So the worst has not happened to your husband, sweetie. Your husband is still breathing. This monster is still breathing. So the worst has not happened. He has been spared.
Taken into a
God has spared him so far.
federal institution for reasons unknown. I have not spoken to my husband. I have not been allowed to speak to my husband. My children have now been allowed to speak to their father. There has been no visitation. Until 2 days ago, I was unaware of where my husband was being housed. I was adamant about trying to find.
Let me say this. For years, my brother has been in and out of prison. It has been times where my mom and I haven't spoken to him. It's been times where we call trying to figure out where he's at. He's been moved, whatever. He's in the hole, whatever the case may be. It's been time where he's been denied the right to see us. It's been times that we've traveled to go see him and have been turned around. Guess what, sweetie? Your husband is a slave. Welcome to the system that was set up for us. Now your husband is in this system. And you sit here and you say your husband was moved for reason unknown to a federal facility. Let's talk about it. This federal facility is a minimum security prison, so therefore, it's a little bit more lax. Yeah, it may not be that much. It may not be that safe for a police officer. No prison in the United States. It's safe for a police officer. Honestly, if a police officer commit a crime and go to prison, no prison is safe for a police officer. So yeah, when they moved him there, yeah, they was doing you a favor. But the general population thing, yeah, I will admit, yeah, they was setting him up for a lamb to the slaughter. To be honest with you, yeah, they was.
Find him. I have been trying to find him every single day. I am fearful for him every single day. I live, eat, breathe, and sleep trying to make sure my husband's safety is number one. When I received a phone call yesterday that he was harmed, there was a group of individuals that physically harmed him. That was my biggest fear. I do not know if he is safe at this moment. I do not know the extent of his injuries. Unfortunately, right now it's a big question mark for me, for everyone. He was
A big question mark. Guess what? Welcome to our world. When our family is in prison and stuff happened to them, guess what? We don't know either what happened. I remember a few years ago when one of my childhood friends, he went to prison when we was in school. So I want to say, still in high school, I want to say like 2006, 2007, that's when he went to prison. And that was his first time getting in trouble. They gave him, what, 10, 12 years or something like that. He is still, to this day, locked up because he kept getting into fights, but people kept stabbing him. I remember it was an incident where he was almost killed. And I think this was like the second time he was stabbed. And his mother was trying, like, she was calling the prison, calling, trying to figure out something. Like, the only way she got any way of figuring out was her son alive or okay was because she went to the news, and that was only after we blew the news up. We called their phone back to back. That was the only reason why she knew that her son was alive and okay. And then also, it wasn't just because of the news. It was inmates in there who was getting the word out to her to let her know that her son was okay. So guess what, sweetie? Welcome to the black world. When you're in prison, you're a nigga, just like us. On the outside, we're niggers. On the inside, everybody's a nigga.
was in a state facility. I have been made aware he was in a state facility where he was safe. His safety was number one. My husband is a police officer. He is a stand-up man. He has always been a stand-up human being. This has already finished. He's had his trial. He was convicted. Everybody got what they wanted. They had my husband put away. All he wanted to do was melt to the background, do his time. And come home to his family. Unfortunately, he is not being afforded that right. He's being basically a prisoner within the prison system. He's not awarded phone calls. He's on lockdown 23 hours a day. That is not safety. For him, that is not a safe thing. They are punishing him for being who he is. If people want to say,
you catch that? She said they are punishing him for being who he is. Sweetie, Tiffany Van Dyke, hear me loud and clear. You goddamn baby bop looking bitch. Your son murdered a fucking child. He shot this baby 16 times and reloaded. His partner's covered up. Your husband murdered a fucking child. He's a stand-up guy. No, your husband is a fucking monster. You married a monster.
That this is, you've said it from day one. Everybody said it from day one. This is a race issue. This is a
Sweetie, it was a race issue when your husband saw that baby in the middle of the street in distress and decided to pull his sidearm out and shoot him 16 times. It was a race issue then. So damn right it's a race issue now. But guess what? Your husband is in prison and he's getting a nigga moment. He's in prison, and guess what? In the prison system, everyone is the same.
It's a gigantic race issue. They put my husband in a setting to be harmed because of the fact that he was a white man. who harmed a black gentleman in the line of duty.
Do you hear this white supremacist piggy looking bitch? A black gentleman? No, that was a freaking baby. It's really funny how if a 25-year-old white male die or get harmed or even shoot up something, y'all call him a kid. But when it comes to our babies, it's like when they hit the age of 7, they're no longer a kid. They're grown up in y'all eyes. This was a baby that your husband murdered. Do you understand that? Apparently, your racist ass don't.
My family fear for him every single day. My children, we don't eat, we don't sleep. My kids barely go to school.
And guess what? When someone in our family commits a crime, especially a heinous crime, even if they don't commit it and they go to jail for something they didn't do, and guess what? A lot of the times it happens. The family goes through a lot. We tend to lose sleep. We don't eat. We stress. We are depressed. We have to go to counseling, all types of stuff. We're worried about our loved ones. Sometimes we don't know if someone is going to set them up, harm them, murder them. We don't know if we will ever see them alive again. So welcome to being us. Welcome.
They cannot.
And another thing, your husband murdered a 17-year-old baby. You're supposed to go through all of that. Guess what, sweetie? It's called karma. You reap what you sow.
Function. They are not functioning children. I plead and beg for everybody to stop and think for a moment. This is a man. This is a human being. He's afforded the rights just like everybody else. Any other normal prisoner?
Did you just say stop and think? Let me ask you a question, Tiffany Van Dyke. When your husband saw that baby walking down in the middle of the street in distress because he was having a bad day, did your husband stop and think to maybe ask that child what was going on? Did he need help? Was he in trouble? Was someone bothering him? No, your husband, this monster, this monstrosity that you married, this demon, decided to pull his sidearm out and shoot him 16 times. Your husband didn't decide to think, stop and think. So the people in prison, guess what? I hope that they saw everything on the news that we all saw. I hope they saw everything. I hope. And I hope that karma comes back and bite y'all in the ass.
In any institution is allowed a telephone call, is allowed to see their loved ones, visit, is allowed to speak.
Guess what, sweetie? In America, when you go to jail or prison, you're not allowed a phone call. Hell, honestly, you're honestly really not allowed to be treated as human if they don't want to treat you as human.
Speak to family and friends, social workers, therapists, guidance from preachers, priests, any of the above, they're allowed. My husband's not being afforded those rights. I am calling on the governor, I'm calling on the attorney general, I'm calling on all of the officials within the state and federal prison system to let me know. I'm demanding reasons. I'm demanding answers as to why they took my husband from a state facility and put him in a federal facility. My husband did not have federal charges. My husband does not belong in a federal facility. If they assume and they claim that it's for his safety has not been met. They have endangered him greatly. This is a national headline. This is a national story. My husband's life, my family's life, is national news. He is a police.
I have a quick question. Why are y'all even allowed to be on here making a press conference when no other inmate who murdered a child in cold blood has this right. Question: where is Laquan McDonald's mother? Why isn't she on here expressing her outrage on the fact that your husband got 6 years and 9 months in prison? Why isn't she allowed to come on here and make a press conference and have a platform to scream how upset she is at this justice system? Why are you allowed to do this when clearly your husband murdered a baby?
Officer who was convicted for doing his job. And at the basic minimum, they were supposed to keep him safe. From everything I have found out, they put him in general population. That was not supposed to happen to my husband. That was not supposed to happen. He was supposed to be safe. And unfortunately, that has not happened. I have had this hit in the bottom of my stomach since they took my husband away on January 18th, that something was going to happen to him. Somebody was going to hurt him. There's still the potential somebody's going to really harm him. I cannot and will not stand by somebody hurting my husband, hurting my family more than we've already been hurt. We are done being hurt. I'm standing up for...
You want to talk about hurt? Let's talk about Laquan McDonald's family and how much pain they feel and how much hurt they feel. You talk about your family going through so much pain. What pain does your family go through? Did anyone in your family get murdered, ma'am? Miss Piggy looking bitch. Did somebody murder anyone in your family? No. Husband is the one that murdered a child. Do you not understand that? Do you not understand what your husband did? Or do you not care? Apparently you don't care. But guess what? I hope that the whole time your husband is in prison, that you stress and worry and all the things that we go through when our loved ones are in prison. I hope that you go through that times 1,000. I hope that you don't get not one moment of rest, not moment of sleep. I hope that your day is filled with a lot of stress and worry. I hope that it bothers you so bad that your blood pressure rises. I hope that it bothers you so much that you start to have health issues, complications, diabetes, all type of stuff, the things that affect us when our loved ones are in prison and we worry ourselves literally to death. I hope that that's what you and your family experience while your monster husband is in prison.
For my husband right now, because he can't. He cannot stand up for himself and fight anymore. That is what I'm here for. I took that vow years ago to protect my husband. And I remain solid in keeping that vow that I will not waver from that. My husband will come home to me. He will come home safe.
Let me point something out really quick. Now, she's showing her little white girl tears, but notice closely that there's no tears actually coming out of her eyeballs. Do you see this? Do you see this? Becky is trying to turn on the waterworks to get us to feeling sorry for her, but let's not forget that Becky's husband murdered a child. He shot this baby 16 times, and then his little buddy cops decided that they was going to cover things up, and guess what? They got off, but guess what? Karma and God is not through with them. Yeah.
And he will be with me and my girls again. 100% will be with our children again. I hope and pray for everybody out there that this gets rectified as soon as possible. I am calling for answers. They need to step up and do what's right for my husband right now.
Let me point out something real quick. Notice what she just said, calling for answers, and she'll get it rectified really quick. So right now she's trying to make it seem like her husband is in so much danger and that he's a cop and he's just in so much danger that it's probably best that we just release him or whatever because of his safety or whatnot. That's what she's doing right here. That's why she's calling on the governor and everybody else because that's what she wants. But guess what, Becky? It's not going to happen. Not, it's not. Because black media, people like me, even though my channel is small, there's a few people out here whose channels are a lot bigger than mine and they have a lot more reach than mine. But guess what? Altogether, me and many channels like mine, if we keep pushing your story and not matter of fact, cut that. Not push your story, but push Laquan McDonald's story. And we keep talking about this and pointing out the fact that you're trying to use your little white girl tears to get your husband out. Guess what? They'll notice that it's an outrage in the community and they might think, maybe these Negroes may go back to the old days in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and all, back then when they were starting to riot and to really tear shit up. Yeah, because if you haven't noticed, things are starting to change a little bit. And we're not going to tolerate police getting off. And with that being said, if we have to use our voices, whatever we need to do to make sure your husband and whoever else that murder us don't get off, we will.
It comes down to rights and responsibilities. Jason Van Dyke has a right to be protected in prison, and there is a responsibility on law enforcement. There's a responsibility on our leaders to make sure that he is protected. It's a tremendous feeling of hopelessness. I can only imagine what Tiffany's going through, but for us as well. And that's what makes this so difficult. And it's really out of our control. And we just hope that that our leaders will come to their senses.
It's so funny. The only reason why they're so worried and all of this and hoping that the leaders will come to their senses is because of the fact that, really, in the history of police killing us, there haven't really been too many police officers to go to jail for killing us. And even though he didn't get a whole lot of time, he got some type of time. And he was in a state facility and they moved him. And I'm guessing when they moved him, he wasn't under their protection anymore. And I guess they didn't realize, or maybe they did move him thinking it was going to be a favor to move him to this, minimum security facility, thinking that maybe things would be better, but not realizing that, guess what? The federal workers still haven't got paid. Yes. So therefore, I'm like this. If I'm not getting paid, I'm not really going to want to do my job. And I'm pretty sure 99%, if not 100% of people are like me. If you don't get paid, you're not going to do work. So therefore, they moved him to this prison, this federal prison, and he got his ass handed to him.
And recognize that that Jason Van Dyke has all the rights of anyone else that's in prison. I don't know when it happened that police officers have become second-class citizens, but right now, all we're asking is that people just take a step back and realize this is life, this is human beings, and this is real. This isn't some political think tank. This isn't a video game. This is real life, and we're just asking that Jason Van Dyke be allowed to serve his time. He's a tough man, and he'll go in there and serve.
I got a question. Since this is real life, did Jason Van Dyke decide to take a moment to step back and think before he pulled out his gun and decide to pump 16 bullets into Laquan McDonald. Did he think, this is not a video game. I'm not gonna pull my gun out and shoot and ask questions later and hope that he's gonna resurrect like we in Grand Theft Auto or something like that. Did Jason Van Dyke take a moment to think? No, he did not. And with that being said, do you remember that old saying, you reap what you sow? You reap what you sow, hence that is karma. And whatever you dish out will come back to you in tenfold. And guess what? I hope when it comes back, I hope it keeps coming. I hope it comes back to the point where he's not here anymore. But then again, that's just me thinking out loud and hoping karma does its job. Maybe, maybe not.
His sentence and keep his mouth shut, and but he needs to be protected because he can't protect himself in that situation. And Tammy, I don't know if you want to talk about how you found out about this. And
Yeah, just
Tammy, can you spell your name for everybody?
Tammy
Anyway,
Went, TAMYWENDT.
Are you guys okay with the mic like this, so we can really
can slide over just a little bit.
Are you okay?
I'll be loud. So I just want to give you some facts as to this attack that occurred. On February 5th, Jason was transferred into federal custody. I received a call after the transfer to inform me, and this call came from Illinois Department of Corrections, Chief Operating. Okay. And they informed me that he had already been taken. I inquired as to why. Was there a safety issue? And I was told there was nothing that they could tell me as to why. They said it was a joint decision. I said, did something happen? No. And they left it at that.
Second. You said it was a joint decision, meaning we moved him because someone asked us a favor. And the federal facility would be much safer.
I was then given a contact person at the federal prison who would call me and tell me as to the plan that they had for Jason's safety and where they were going to house him. This person never called me. I called him. I can't tell you how many times I left messages. I've called the warden multiple times. She will not call me back. 2 days ago,
This is so funny. Even the lawyers are having trouble getting in touch with people. Welcome to our world. I don't know how many times I've had to call the prison looking, searching for answers on my brother. It's been times I've had to call the warden, all type of things. And guess what? None of them never called me back. Never. So welcome to our world. Welcome. Jason Van Dyke, you're getting a nigga moment in prison. You're a slave just like we are in prison.
Jason informed his appellate attorneys on a conference call about the attack. During this conference call, Jason was handcuffed, and there was a guard present in the room with him, violating his attorney privilege. Jason was...
Welcome to our world. We have our rights violated all the time. And you're surprised that Jason's rights have been violated? I'm not. Guess what? When you're in prison, you are a slave. Slavery was never abolished, only in the sense that slavery is still there if you commit a crime. And they sentence you to prison. And once you go to prison, you're a slave. Hence, free and cheap labor. Because guess what? Free labor comes in and because when when you're in prison, the prisoners do the work in the prison, they clean and all that, and guess what? They don't get paid for doing that. Yeah. Now, a lot of times when they leave the premises, Yeah, they get paid. Yeah, if they cutting grass, I think they get paid for doing that. But inside the facility, I don't think they get paid for doing that. So welcome to our world. A lot of times our rights are violated. I remember a time when I was arrested and my rights were violated. So guess what? Welcome to our world.
Okay. Um, was not able to give all the details. I was then told about this attack yesterday and immediately began making phone calls to Illinois Department of Corrections, to the federal prison. All dead ends.
Tell them who called you and told you.
Okay, so then yesterday I also received a call from an employee of the federal prison where Jason's housed. This was a confidential phone call, and I'm not going to reveal who this person was, but I can tell you he is an employee inside the prison. And
Okay, so she said an employee within the prison called her. So let's really think about this. The only time someone would call someone because they're concerned about a prisoner who is a murderer, who happened to have murdered a child who is African American, what comes to mind? A white supremacist calling because he want to make sure that his little white supremacist buddy doesn't get harmed in prison.
he searched out our office because he knew we represented Jason, and he said,
Yeah, a very concerned white supremacist who wanted to protect Jason, his little trophy inmate.
he needed to let us know that Jason's safety was at risk. He said, I know you haven't been told about the attack, and I wanted to let you know, and I'm very concerned about his safety. He indicated to me many things that are going on there that I won't elaborate on. But most importantly is that this man came forward to advise us of this attack on Jason when nobody else would.
Tammy, can you just clarify that's an
Now she said many other things that she want to elaborate on. That's code for someone's trying to set him up, and I don't want to talk about it right now.
employee from the Connecticut facility? Which facility?
Yes.
Is it Connecticut?
Yes.
And we reached out to, and we actually, we got a lot of assistance, but we reached out to the FOP president, Kevin Graham. We reached out to the past president, Dean Angelo. There was calls made to the national president for the FOP. And, people really did come together and step up and attempt to help us in this situation. We just hope that it's going to be rectified.
Dan, can you speculate why he would have been moved to a federal prison? Is there a hint that maybe he might be given federal charges at some point down the line?
I don't think that would be the reason. It is done in certain situations. It's done in some high-profile cases. Sometimes it could be for the exact opposite reason as to what happened here. It could be.
Now he said in high profile cases. And now really think about this. A cop murdering a black child the last few years, whenever cops murder black people, period, which mainly they've been highlighting cops murdering black men. It's been black women. A lot of black women have been murdered by cops, but it's not pushed in the mainstream as much as black men being murdered by cops. So, with that being said, this is considered a high profile case, which that's why I said they moved him to a federal facility on a favor, thinking it would keep him safe.
To promote safety, when in fact, in this case, it certainly didn't. But we don't know why. And, it's not our job to tell the prison system, IDOC, federal prison system, where to house Jason Van Dyke. But it's our responsibility to make sure that we do everything in our power to ensure the safety of this man so that he can serve the sentence that he was given, and nothing else, nothing more.
Yeah.
Can you describe his injuries to your knowledge?
Facial and head.
What do you mean?
That's all I can really say.
Can you describe the scenario?
The prison is not informing me of his injuries.
Wait, you have to go to like the prison.
Yes, he saw a medical person, and I do know that. And I was told that by this confidential informant.
So what exactly happened and when precisely did it happen?
Immediately upon arrival, Jason was placed in general population, as if he was led like a lamb to the slaughter.
So on the 5th?
Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes, it wasn't. No, he wasn't attacked until the 7th. He was on the unit where he was attacked.
You know what just dawned on me? Now, normally in prison, when someone attacks someone, a lot of times if they want to kill him, they kill him. So we know for sure if they wanted to kill Jason Van Dyke, they would have murdered him. So this little theory just popped into my head with this little press conference. All right, so I know for certain that if they want him dead, he'll be dead. So a lot of times with a lot of gang initiations, they will jump you in. And this is what I'm starting to believe this is it, what this is. And they're trying to portray it as if it's something else. Because to be honest with you, it is a lot safer, especially for this officer to be in some type of white supremacist little gang in prison. That way he will have protection. And honestly, if they didn't murder him and he only had facial and head injuries, I'm thinking that this was a gang initiation, that they jumped him in. And maybe we should look to see if something's going to happen to him, or if he's, if they're going to report on him attacking someone in the future after he get out of the hole. So that's probably where he's at right now.
He was on that unit not even 4 hours before the attack. Placed in general population in a prison full, and in his unit full of gangbangers, violent criminals. And even though they call this a minimum security prison, these are violent people on the last leg of their sentence.
Now, she just said gang bangers and violent criminals. All right. Now, that's code. Anytime they say gang bangers, that's code for, niggers and shit. They try to make it seem like black people are more violent than anybody else. No, let's look at history. The only race that I know of that have killed, destroyed, and raped is the Caucasian race. So who is more violent? They are. Y'all are. So if there's any violent gangs in there, I'm going to say that they are white supremacist gangs. Like, let's really think about this. Matter of fact, let's go back to the little video that we saw with the prisoners came to the table and that white supremacist dude stabbing them up while they was handcuffed to the table. Yeah. I'm thinking more about those type of gangs, yeah.
That's why they're calling it minimum security. And to put a police officer who has spent his entire career locking up bad guys in with these bad guys, it doesn't take a genius to know that that's obviously going to get him in trouble. And it's just unconscionable that this happened to him.
And we don't know, just if I can real quick, we don't know if this was done with any malice, forethought by any of the guards. We don't know if it was simply a mistake or a misunderstanding, but quite frankly, we're not too concerned about the reason for it. We just want to make sure that the end result does not occur again.
Was it in a general area, or was it in his cell?
Cell.
In his cell.
And what is your understanding about his status now after this?
I don't know if y'all caught that. He was attacked in his cell. Yeah, that really sounds like a little gang initiation. Somebody got him in the cell. Oh, I would have paid to have seen that. Just been the fly on the wall, just to witness that, and maybe like in fly term words of encouragement and fly language towards the aggressor who's beating his ass. I'd be like, hit him right, hit him right.
Incident on the 7th, did he return to general population?
No, he's segregated, 23 hours of lockdown. They call it from what I have understood, they call it the shoe, which is basically where you go to be punished. He is in 23 hours. Lockdown is not afforded any time out. Even if he was, I don't think my husband would.
Told you. See, she just said the shoe, but the shoe and the hole are two. Well, both of them are the same. It's just two different terms. And I hope while he's in there, I hope it drives him crazy. I hope they have him in there to the point where he starts to have hallucinations and he loses his mind. It's really not hard for, y'all really to lose your mind. Really, really think about it. For a white man to lose his mind, let's see. What could set a white man off to cause him to lose his mind? Sex, not getting sex, not a woman not dating them, little stuff will cause them to lose their mind. So I really hope that this solitary confinement cause him to go batshit crazy.
Would leave that location because he is fearful for his life. If they can get to him in general population, they can get to him anywhere.
And he does have a cellmate, even in the shoe.
So he's segregated. He's in a segregated unit with how many other?
There's people all over. There's bars. This is like Alcatraz with the old time bars. But there's prisoners all over the unit.
So no longer in general population?
No, he's at this current point, as far as I know, is not in general population.
You were talking earlier about elected officials. Who exactly are you talking about and what they do?
I hope that I've spoken to a lot of elected officials in this case, throughout this case, and I've been given some assurances that my client would be treated like the prisoner is supposed to be treated, and for whatever.
Did you catch that? He said assurances. I wonder what assurances he's talking about, because from where I'm standing, he is being treated the way a prisoner is normally treated, to be honest with you. So what assurances were you given? Because he is being treated the way a prisoner is normally treated. His rights are being violated, and that's what happens. Your family rights you're not having the right to call your family. You're not having any kind of rights. You're not protected. Everything that black people go through, he's going through. That's what a normal prisoner goes through. That's called being a slave. So get used to it. I don't know what rights or privileges or whatever you thought was going to happen, but I guess what you're doing in this dog whistle, you're dog whistling, trying to bring up these politicians to try to get sympathy with this little white Barney Becky looking bitch sitting here crying, but this bitch is not actually crying. She's fake crying. She want her husband home, and you want your little buddy out. No, guess what? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because guess what? This new black media is going to make sure it doesn't happen. We're going to make sure it doesn't happen. We're going to make sure he does his time. The little bitty time they gave him, we're going to make sure he does it. I'm hoping and praying that, they go ahead and do this review on this sentencing and give this asshole the time that he needs. Honestly, I really felt like they should have gave him fucking life. without the possibility of parole. And he just sit there until he died. Like, because I feel like the electric chair is too easy for him.
For a reason. It hasn't happened. I think everyone knows my thoughts about the way this case was brought, the way the trial was conducted, and the way the sentence is now being reviewed. These are all unprecedented acts, and you know, our elected officials, we elect them to, and we expect them when we.
Notice he said these are all unprecedented acts, right? Okay. So what he is saying is normally for they don't go and look at try to review and overturn the convictions, but the thing is he wasn't sent the judge in the case did y'all a favor and gave him 6 years and 9 months. That's not enough time. Vic actually got more time for dog fighting, and he wasn't even there. So everything that's happening now, I mean, honestly, I hope when they overturn, or if they overturn this sentencing, I hope they give him 1,000,000 years. Honestly, I hope he does not get to see his kids. I hope when they overturn it, I hope his wife have a fucking heart attack, and I hope his kids become foster kids, and all type of other stuff that I will not say because probably I'll just be wrong for saying it. But anyway, let's continue.
Elect them to these positions, we expect them to have courage in the face of fear, to have fortitude when others are weak, and sometimes the right decision is not the easiest decision, but that's what we expect of people, and I'm just hoping that we come back to that because it's become a situation where law enforcement is that second-class citizen, and it seems that no matter if the outcry from the public is loud enough, the rights of individuals, especially law enforcement, seems to be secondary to that. And we need to get back.
Did you just catch what he said? If the outcry of the public is loud enough, officers become second-class citizens. No, he's actually saying outcries loud enough, then we have to start locking them up or whatever. The system has to start locking them up so it doesn't look obvious that we're just letting them go, and that there's still, some of them laws where you can kill, runaway slaves, not punished. But guess what? We're in this day and age now that black people are starting to, say enough is enough. And guess what? When you start killing us, we're gonna start actually fucking up shit. We're gonna start separating all type of stuff. Eventually, we're gonna say enough is enough. So honestly, in my opinion, I feel as if y'all should stop this kill at will that y'all have on us now before eventually gets too late and Allah decides to have our back and unleash his wrath on you. But best believe, I mean, you don't have to, because it's coming a time where he's gonna unleash his wrath on you, Esau, and everything that we were put through, y'all are gonna go through. Haven't you noticed that your women are being born without wombs? Your sperm count is very low. Y'all are dying twice the rate of y'all giving birth. Y'all are dying from AIDS like crazy to the point where y'all are even lying on your death certificate saying it's something else. Y'all are dying from drug overdose. Y'all are dying from suicide, all type of stuff. And then you have someone in your community that gets mad and decide to shoot up y'all. So y'all are dying from all around. Soon, this will be a majority brown.
Back to
When
that.
was the last time you spoke with Jason, and what was the conversation?
The last time I spoke to my husband was January 18th when they sentenced him at Cook County Courthouse. When I said goodbye to him, when they sentenced him, was the last time I spoke to my husband. They took him away from me. And I was not afforded a phone call. He was not afforded a phone call. The attorneys have been able to speak to him because they have that privilege. I do relay a message to him that I'm okay, my children are okay, we're doing the best we can. I'm holding the fort down for Say. I love him very much. Unfortunately, I am not awarded the privilege, and neither is he, to speak to my husband. I don't know how safe he is. I don't know the extent of his injuries. At the end of the day, I want my husband home. I want him to be safe. I don't need people to go into his cell and attack him. The next time this can happen, they can kill him. I cannot bury my husband.
And we do know that this attack.
Let me just say this, sweetie. I don't care what happens to your husband. I don't care what happens to your family. I don't care that this is a financial burden to your family. What do you think us blacks go through when our loved ones are taken away from us? A lot of times they don't even commit crimes. They're just taking stuff pinned on them. So I don't care. Shut up with your little fake crying, Becky. Did you forget that your husband murdered a child? Oh no, maybe I forgot that you and your husband don't look at us as human. I don't see why y'all don't look at us as human because we're more human than you are. Let's not forget, we don't have the Neanderthal gene. And another thing, I've always wanted to say, how can you tell when someone's not meant to be here when they're allergic to the sun? Black people don't get skin cancer. Black people don't, get skin burns. Your skin is just like, the skin of an animal, a hairless dog, hairless cat. It's like it's the same color. It kind of smells like wet dog too when you get wet. So, with that being said, you're closer to animals than we are. We're humans, sweetie. Come on now. We are the original people.
That was because of this case. It was not random.
He's a police officer who was convicted of doing something on duty. It was going to happen.
Yes, there was. The informant told me this.
Yes.
Okay, guys, I think that's about it. I think we're set.
Did you catch it? He was a police officer who was convicted for doing something on duty. It was going to happen. Sweetie, if your husband policed the community that he lived in and police officers that look like us with melanated skin police our neighborhoods, the chances of this happening to Laquan McDonald would have been slim to none. But your husband, with his racist ass, decided to hop out the damn car like he's Billy Badass and decided to unload 16 bullets into a 17-year-old baby. Let's not forget that. Your husband is an animal and you are an animal. And bitch, you lied at court when you said y'all were feeling remorseful.
Could I just ask one more question? Earlier this week, Attorney General Kwame announced that he was going to challenge the sentence. What's your reaction?
My reaction is leave it alone. Let him serve his time and do what they've already given him. The judge
Sweetie, the judge did not give him enough time. He actually he under-sentenced him. He under-sentenced your husband. You saying leave it alone because y'all feel like it's a favor? No, your husband needs to have 88 fucking years. Matter of fact, no. The way I feel, Your husband deserves 10 years per bullet that he pumped into that baby. By that math, he deserves to have how many years, sweetie? How many? Come on. How many? Your husband decides he needs to be in prison till he die, and guess what? To be cruel, to add cruelty to it. When your husband died, they need to hold his ashes for the remainder of his sentencing, and then release it to your family well after you're gone, bitch. Now that's cruel.
Was right in doing what he did. I'm okay with the sentence he got. My husband's okay. We know there's a future for my husband at the end of this. There was light at the end of the tunnel. Now the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor want to go for more time because they're unhappy because they think the judge didn't do his job. I know for a fact the judge did his job. He did what he was supposed to do. He followed the rule of law.
That is a bold-faced lie. The judge did not do his job. He didn't even follow sentencing guidelines because the minimum is 18 years. The judge gave your husband a favor, bitch. So guess what the special prosecutor should do? They should overturn it and give him the maximum in the guidelines. Honestly, I feel like this. If you are an officer and you kill someone while you on duty, matter of fact, not even while you're on duty. This is how I feel the law should be written. If you are an officer and you murder someone, period, you deserve to be electrocuted. You should be put to death instantly.
And it sickens me at the fact that they want to put more time on my husband. It absolutely frustrates and sickens me.
Are you planning to go to Connecticut?
I was, but I will not be allowed to see him.
They've not let us know when she can visit or if he can have.
I have not received a phone call. He has never called me. I have never been able to call him.
I've been trying to arrange phone calls with them, and I'm not getting answers.
At the same time, there's a huge financial stake in my own life to be able to travel to see my husband. To take him to the East Coast is mind-boggling to me. It's frustrating and it's very...
Guess what? Welcome to our world. Most of the time, when our loved ones get locked up, they move them hours away. I'm talking about hours away. So therefore, I don't care that it is a financial burden that your husband is across the country. In my opinion, they should have sent that motherfucker to the fucking moon and locked his ass up.
disheartening to know that my husband's on the other side of the country.
Yeah, we're just looking for assurance that his safety is going to be okay. That's really what we're looking for right now. Where he's housed is significant. It's important for the family. But right now, our biggest fear and our biggest concern is the safety of Jason. And that's what we're looking to hopefully have resolved and protected. So.
No, let's be real. They're not looking to have this resolved. They're actually looking to try to push this so that they can get him released, because they want to try to spin it in the sense that he's in so much danger that they can't protect him, and it'd just be better so that, it'd just be better if they let him come home and maybe like on house arrest or something like that. But guess what? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other prisoners can.
Anyway, enough of this right here. Anyway, let's get to talking about this bitch. It really bothers me that she was even allowed and given the right to have a press conference with her lawyer and go on here with her little tears and cry and say that her husband is in danger and sit here and have the nerve to complain that she's upset that her husband's sentencing is under review. Guess what? I hope that they overturn this and give him more time. I hope that they throw freaking book at him. That's what I hope. I hope that they throw the book at him and send him even further away from you. I want you to experience the same thing that black people experience when our loved ones are locked up. I want you to go through everything that we go through. I want you to have many sleepless nights. And guess what? I want you to start having, your husband is in prison. So guess what? Y'all have a bond. So a lot of times when you have a bond with someone, sometimes you have shared dreams. And I want you to have all of the terrifying dreams that he have. I hope and pray that every terrifying dream that your husband have while he's in prison, I hope and pray that y'all have that shared dream together and it bothers you to the point where you start having health issues and your heart and your health declines. I hope that your kids start having all types of trouble in school. I hope that it's so bad that your kids can't sleep at night. Oh woman, all I'm gonna say, your husband is a monster, lady, and it is very sad that you don't realize that your husband is a monster and that everything is happening for a reason because God don't like ugly, baby. And believe me, if you don't believe in karma, do some stuff wrong. Keep on doing stuff wrong and watch how all that bad energy that you putting out comes right back around and knock you on your ass. With that being said, this will conclude today's episode with Jessica, with me, your host. And I want to say this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any stories that you would like for me to cover, you can email me at melanatedmagictv@gmail.com. You have a good day or night wherever you are. Goodbye.